Okay, guys. We're live. All right. Okay. Welcome back, Guardians, to the Idaho Vanguard podcast as part of Idaho 5051 with your host, Sonia.
Hello.
Lotus.
What's up?
And I'm Pine. We are once again bringing you journalism against tyranny, talking all things Idaho and national politics, helping break down the headlines and bylines so you can understand what is happening in our communities, our state, and our country without panic or overwhelm. Today, we have a lot to cover. It's been a minute since we've been here.
A little bit.
We just had some stuff coming up. You have to remember, guys, none of us are professional podcasters. We are full-time employees, parents, people of the world, so we do this part-time and
all volunteer, baby.
All volunteer. So we've had a couple of hiccups over the last couple of weeks, but we do have some stuff we want to cover today. And the first amongst those is Pam Bondi. She gave testimony yesterday in front of the House Oversight Committee, and it was
horrible.
Yeah, it was an experience for sure.
Yeah, we'll say that. We'll say that.
Yeah, I don't know. Sonia, did you manage to catch any of it?
No, I've only seen like a couple of memes. One of the memes I saw was like, she's blurry in the foreground, and then there's a bunch of what looks like maybe victims raising their hands in the background, and one of them's glaring at her. And the meme version I saw, because I saw the other version later, they added, photoshopped a blurry middle finger back at them, which I feel like just really emphasized what that image was already telling.
Oh, yeah. She wouldn't look at them. Even when she, quote unquote, addressed them, she didn't look at them.
Well, and the question they were being asked right then, or that they were raising their hands for, was if the DOJ had spoken to any of them. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they asked if the victims had been spoken to by the DOJ about any of the allegations and stuff. Or if they had not, and they all raised their hands that they had not spoken to anyone in the
Unbelievable.
DOJ. Yeah.
She also refused to apologize to any of them for not investigating these allegations. She just kept bringing up Merrick Garland.
Yeah.
For some fucking reason.
Oh,
and Obama.
Is she like giving us a case study on what it means to be a sycophant?
Yes. Absolutely.
I think she's trying to get a place in Hollywood.
I don't think so, because she's a terrible actress.
Well, she's trying so hard,
she's
though.
A mean girl.
But she's trying so
girl.
hard.
She showed up with a literal burn book. Okay, so she's got a binder with information about every member of the Democratic Party in the Oversight Committee. And she would literally, as they were reading questions, flip through the binder to their page and read things about
not
them
listening to their question.
She could insult them about. Moskowitz.
Wait, who did she have the burn book on?
Everyone.
The Dems or the victims?
The Dems.
I don't know if she had any info on the victims. She did, however, also have a burn book, a secondary binder, that had information about what the Oversight Committee researched in the SCIF when they were allowed to search through the unredacted files. So a couple of days before this, several of the Dems, Raskins, Kana, J-Pal, Balint, they went to a SCIF. And a SCIF, for those who don't know, is a secure room. Probably not much bigger than the one we're currently sitting in.
Oh, so not a boat?
No.
I thought they were talking about a little boat.
No,
That is also a SCIF.
Yeah, it's also
That's
a
what I
SCIF.
thought, though.
But it's a clean room. There's no way for sound, anything to penetrate. You're not allowed to bring in a cell phone, anything. You were allowed to bring in a pen and a notebook, and that is it. And then you get to search this computer. Well, the DOJ spied on what they were searching for, which is a massive problem. Because first of all, Bondi then brought those search results to the hearing to criticize about what they were looking at. And that's a huge violation of the SCIF rules, right? Like, information is not supposed to be able to come out of there. That's why it is a secure room. It is where you do, like, your utmost top secret James Bond stuff. And so that's weird. But it's also weird that the Department of Justice is spying on members of Congress. That's a 5-alarm fire, and I don't think we're worried enough about it. I mean, it's an absolutely atrocious.
I remember with the Jack Smith stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that is the angle that the Republicans were really going at, is when he got legally, he went through all the processes and got the phone records, not like the details of the phone calls,
Just who was calling
but just who was calling whom, looking for corruption, the path that's supposed to bring accountability to our government, right?
For those who
And
weren't
they
following
were-
along, it was Lindsey Graham.
And they were accusing Jack Smith of spying on senators.
Yeah.
And so then this current DOJ is turning around and
Actively spying. There was no legal warrants. There was no precedent.
getting
It's not-
content,
Yeah.
like content, not just like they went into this room or they initiated this call or whatever, but the content of what was being searched,
Yep.
and then making that public after.
Not on
literally-
purpose. She didn't make it public on purpose. It was made
Why
public.
did she bring the binder then?
Yeah, she brought the binder, and a very skilled photographer got pictures over her shoulder.
Okay.
So
Like these people, how many times do they have to make that mistake?
They're so incompetent. That's the saving grace of all of this is they're fucking incompetent.
I don't know if it's purely incompetence.
Do you think she wanted
So,
that
like,
to be like
no.
it's a come
No.
and get me?
No,
No,
I don't think they wanted anyone to know that they were spying. It's a huge problem.
Yeah. I think what it really comes down to is the U.S. has become a police state very slowly. We are frogs in hot
Absolutely.
water. And I
Since
think
9/11.
that they believe there's no point in hiding it anymore.
I don't think so.
I don't think they feel like they need to have it locked down like frickin' Watergate anymore. I think they feel like they almost have carte blanche and it doesn't matter.
Well, they are definitely.
This is all
they
theatrics,
are
as
trying
she
to
said.
normalize a police state.
That's what I'm saying. Is
Yeah,
I
they-
think to them they truly think that we are already on that slide
Oh, we
down, and
already
there's
are.
nothing that
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
can do to stop it.
No, but here's the problem with that. First of all, these people are incompetent, right? You good, competent people don't become sycophants to someone who is absolutely dumb as a rock. Like, Trump is not a smart man.
Well,
No.
and maybe now's a good time to pause. I did do a little bit of homework before coming here, right?
Yeah.
And I looked up, Pam Bondi's history with Trump and how she was the attorney general in Florida when there were complaints and a lawsuit in New York filed by the New York attorney general about Trump University. And then the scandal was that Trump donated $25,000 to one of Pam Bondi's campaigns. And I don't think anything came of that for accountability because big money in politics is a massive issue that needs addressed on a deeper level than we can even get to. But the result, if you look back at the high level, Trump likes her now because she did not join in on that lawsuit that ultimately New York settled where Trump had to pay $25 million
Yeah.
in 2016, I want to say.
Somewhere around there. Because the university was fraudulent, right? They didn't have any accreditation, they didn't have any actual academics, and they actually never taught anything.
So by not joining in that lawsuit, Pam Bondi lost justice for the American people, right?
Yeah. And
And-
justice for the people who were victimized.
And accountability for Donald Trump, right? Like it was a good deal for Trump University to save basically $25 million for 25,000.
Yeah.
That's 3 orders of magnitude. Maybe more than that. I didn't do the math. But that bought her the position of power she's in now. If you look at it
It's worse.
from the corruption level, from the sycophancy level, from the cronyism level, that is the story through line.
Do you know what she did before she was AG?
No.
She was the personal emissary, which is basically a fancy word for someone who works on behalf of, like, as kind of like a legal counsel, but is like a representative and on behalf of someone else for the UAE,
Oh.
who
That
you will
tracks.
recall, we sold a whole bunch of high value, extremely advanced AI chips to.
Yeah.
Who are now selling those to China. So, gets worse.
Yeah.
But I think to me what stood out the most about Pam Bondi's quote unquote testimony is that she wouldn't address anything about Epstein.
Or
Like,
Trump.
period, like she would completely deflect. But she came at this with this process of being, there's a quote, there's like this old adage that says, if you have the law on your side, you argue the law. If you have morality on your side, you argue the morality. If you have neither, you pound the desk and yell really loud, and that is all she did, was pound the desk. And in some points, like, I was shocked not to see her actually pounding her desk.
Oh, yeah.
That's all she had.
Well, one of those Democratic senators or congresspeople called her out saying she was being like Jekyll and Hyde, and she's like, what does that even mean?
I know.
But you know what that means.
Maybe she doesn't.
She might not.
She might not. They're not well read.
Then maybe she should read it. Like, I know the ending is spoiled, but like...
What was really interesting is she accused Raskins, who, by the way, for those who are following along, Raskins is someone you really need to be paying attention to. Raskins is on track to become House Speaker when the Dems take back the House. And we're going to, by the way. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Is he senator? What state is he senator?
He's from New York, 7th District of New York. This man is a constitutional scholar, which means he went to school and got a bachelor's, and then he went to Harvard Law and got a law degree, and basically his entire...
Not the plenary authority type of constitutional scholar.
No,
the good
but
kind.
like the kind who taught constitutional law
That's
to
awesome.
other people who were going to be lawyers. And he has passed the bar, but he never practiced law.
Okay.
Because he was a scholar. His job, his entire purpose prior to coming into Congress was basically to study the Constitution and understand it backwards and forwards. So like this dude would rake me over the coals with constitutional law, right? Bondi went at him. And she was like, you're not even a real lawyer. And I am going to remind the audience, who maybe isn't paying attention, the person who is in charge, the chair of the House Judiciary Oversight Committee, is Jim Jordan, who never passed the bar.
That's hilarious.
Raskin's passed the bar. Anyways, for those who aren't keeping tabs of all these players, Raskin is a player to watch. He's someone to watch who I think stands a real chance of being a leader in the Democratic Party going forward. He's incredibly good at this, and he's been really on task with this. I mean, we know that the Epstein stuff is being led by Massey and Khanna, but Raskins has been just an absolute standout in terms of like the judiciary and the oversight committees.
So when we're watching him as everyday people, is there anything we can do, especially in Idaho, to support that?
So if you're not donating to his campaigns, if you're not donating to other campaigns already, that's a really good idea. The other thing is just go out and like put a note on his social media that you're really impressed. Because if they get the feedback from the people that they're doing what the people are actually looking for, that will encourage them to keep standing on business. And Raskin has been standing on business. And I'm very, very intrigued to watch his career going forward, because I think he's going to end up someone that really, he was kind of a sleeper agent. I did not anticipate him being the guy, right? But when you compare him to like Schumer, who's been an absolute wet blanket in terms of leadership, or Jeffries, who's been so slow to act on anything and so just hemming and hawing, and I clearly taking his cues from Schumer and just not really running a hard line on pretty much anything. Raskins has been really stepping up the game, and he came in kind of lukewarm at the beginning, and I was like, okay, maybe. But he's figured out what game he's actually playing, and he's playing it, which I hate reducing our legal battles down to that, but there is an element of that in our politics. And so he's one to watch. The other one who stood out to me, other than the whole incident with Balint, and we'll get back to that, is Moskowitz. I think we all should be taking a page out of Moskowitz's book. Jared Moskowitz is from Florida. He's a former director of FEMA in Florida. He is really smart, but more importantly, he's funny. He actually challenged Bondi, and he challenged her about her burn book, where they have all the things that she's prepared to insult the Democratic representatives about, which, by the way, is not how you address Congress. That's incredibly disgusting.
It's weird.
It's gross that these are respected members and leadership bodies, and remember that these guys represent 700,000 Americans. Have that is their representative of what they represent in this country. So they speak for us.
When you elect someone like Trump, who is not respectful,
no,
and polarizes people, and then in turn is not respected, and then he becomes the president, that's the tone that has been set by
Yeah,
this.
and so she's coming in to speak to these people who are representatives that she may as well have been taking all of those Americans who have voted for these men and women to represent them in office and just given them the middle finger like you don't matter.
Well,
which we have been seeing from the administration, right? The regime has
Yeah.
been definitely saying, Ma, if you didn't vote for me, you just don't matter.
yeah, 100%. That has been the story the whole time. As far as, I mean, with the occasional concession of like, even Merry Christmas to the radical left or
Yeah,
something like
well,
that,
we're
and
rebel
with
scum.
followed by insults.
Yeah, we're rebel scum, and I'm
But
proud to
we
own
wish
that.
you a Merry Christmas. It was a very backhanded.
It is. It's always a backhanded thing.
And that's like that's the best they got.
Yeah. Well, but
For
Moskowitz
respect.
comes in and he challenges her, and he tells her, he's just like, I got 25 seconds left, and so I'm going to give you an opportunity. I see you brought your burn book. Give me your best insult. And since it's the Olympics, he took out a big white cardboard piece and a marker, and he was like, I'm going to rate it. She lost it. She lost it. These people are so thin-skinned and incapable. They're incompetent, for starters. They're corrupt, and they've tied themselves to this horse that is going to drag them through the mud and down over a cliff. And so they have no choice but to stick with it. They
I mean, we
can't
see that
leave.
reflected in some of our local Idaho.
Oh my God. Ugh, little.
Well, and even like the smaller players that
Oh,
want to
yeah.
come out and talk a big game and disrupt stuff, but
Yeah.
they actually are very thin-skinned, and
Incredibly.
it's sad.
I mean,
it's as sad as it is annoying sometimes,
for
and it's like,
these
how do I
guys
help you?
bluster about how snowflakey the left is. Man, they can't take anything. Moskowitz just, I mean, he invited her to use her burn book and somehow made a challenge into an insult, and it was clever.
Yeah.
It was funny, but I've been watching him over the last few weeks, and that guy is on it, and he's funny. He's funny about it. He goes right at like the Republicans across the aisle, and he's just with that little bit of that little.
So you think he
jab.
can meet sort of this populist moment
He can.
where
And
we have messaging that needs to get out, right? And the way that messaging gets out is through entertainment. Which is not-
for better or for worse.
Right.
I mean, I don't know that we have a lot of room to say as we sit here on a podcast. But you know, it's how the messaging gets out. But he seems to realize and recognize that conducting business as usual is a wasted effort. So you might as well get your hits where you can. Anyways, I thought he was funny. I thought he was great. But like, Jesus
Well, and if
Christ.
he's got integrity to back it up, that's what really makes the difference. Like in
Haven't
integrity
seen
in
anything.
whatever form, I'm
Yeah.
always feeling a little glad that it still exists in there somewhere.
Well, and I don't know. I'm not into purity politics. I don't think anybody should be into purity politics. I think purity politics are one of the things that weakens any kind of progress in this country. When we demand that everyone adhere to the same level of progressive politics or progressive thought, that prevents progress from being made forward. Mud is mud. And it doesn't matter if it's blue mud or red mud, it's still mud, and it prevents the wheel of progress from turning forward. So stop throwing mud around. So I don't know much about Moskowitz prior to all of this, prior to the fact that none of us were actually involved in politics that much until we had to become. But I've been very impressed with his behavior over the last while. So, yeah. What do you got, Lotus?
I find it interesting that she brought a burn book when she's literally protecting pedophiles and people who eat babies and murder children.
Allegedly.
Fucking
I
bullshit.
mean, we have to say allegedly for legal reasons, but
Well, and here's the thing,
I'm
though.
knee deep in the Epstein files, and that stuff is dark.
There's so much
saying.
dark stuff in the files, and it's messed up. And the point of the governmental systems that we've put in place for accountability is to vet those things. Like, I remember what was going on with the QAnon stuff.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of it very much read made up to cause a stir and cause drama, right?
But the FBI still raided a police or a pizza restaurant.
Yes.
What have they rated now?
That apparently
Now, so
the
the-
What
pedophile
have they rated?
Nothing.
What I'm trying to get at, though, is what's in the Epstein files needs to be vetted. Now, of course, what I think is that going into the primaries, the number one criteria for whether or not somebody should be even allowed to have the opportunity to run in the general election
Their name isn't in it?
is that their name is not in the Epstein files. Like, I think we can just, that's the bare minimum first pass, right? You're not implicated.
You realize
If
one of
you are
the
not,
top
if you're not
plastic
implicated
surgeons,
in the Epstein files.
one of our top plastic surgeons in the country is on there.
Who?
Dr. Attila. He's a top surgeon. There's another a guy who runs the OBGYN shit for doctors in this country, also in the files.
So I love that we have the Constitution.
Way.
I love that we have the
Like he's in there
Constitution.
exchanged emails with Epstein. There's some creepy
like,
shit.
no,
you're
yeah, he was their
innocent.
doctor.
That you're innocent until proven guilty, right? And we have very high standards so that our citizens are protected from sort of this mob mentality stuff.
Yeah.
Those systems are breaking down, and we're falling into this mob mentality space. Now, I hold that separate from you should be allowed to run for office. That the people should be willing to consider you.
Yeah.
We should not be considering anybody who's implicated in the Epstein files. At the same time, we don't need to necessarily believe every single report that comes through is gonna pass muster when it's investigated.
When it's investigated, that's
And it needs to be investigated,
It
and
has
they
got to
fail.
be investigated.
And honestly, them releasing the files is its own concession of failure.
Yeah.
They should have been investigating these. And the other part is, this has been going on, what, 4 presidential terms?
Yeah.
So yeah, because it was 2006.
He got arrested the first time in 2008.
I thought it was 2003.
No, he was convicted in 2008, I should say.
I think he was arrested like it was 2006, 2007, and then
Yeah.
his convicted where he had the sweetheart deal from Acosta.
Well, part of it was also the economy burning and crashing at like the exact same time,
yeah. So
which I'm
that
sure
was
some
a-
conspiracy theorist out there ties those together.
But so he was convicted in Florida in like 2008.
Okay.
And then he served 18 months, most of
That's
which
what it
he was
was.
on work release. It was absolutely appalling. And he was convicted of sex with a minor and soliciting prostitution with a minor.
And I'm assuming a lot of what's
And I
coming
think
out
we're taking them
now
across
in the
borders?
Epstein files.
I can't remember.
I'm assuming a lot of what's coming through in the Epstein files now was stuff that was submitted during that time.
Not necessarily. A lot of this is
2013.
a lot of this is from his
2015.
computers that they got, like the emails. The
Oh.
emails were pulled from his tech.
What about the weird baby eating stuff, though?
That's from 2016.
Yeah.
So that was
those
in
are
the,
for some
the
other
thick
reports.
of QAnon stuff.
Yeah.
That was in the
same
start of the
same
QAnon,
with
yeah.
the throwing newborn infants over ship sides up in the Great Lakes.
And I'm not saying, like, I'm saying it needs to be investigated.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, I think some of the claims are
And especially that story.
fantastical claims and egregious claims like that deserve investigation. You need equal weighted.
Well, the thing is,
crazy
you
thing
believe
about this
victims,
is,
you
though,
take them seriously.
but
right?
these haven't been investigated.
It's gotta
And
be an
I'm-
investigation.
Okay,
So
to put it clearly, I am not going to give Merrick Garland a pass on this.
no.
They absolutely bungled this, and I get that there was some issues because they wanted to make sure they got Ghislaine and all of that stuff. But like, no, we should have been speed running this. This should have been like top priority for any DOJ.
Yeah.
But Bondi, like bringing it back to Bondi, she brought up, she's like, well, why aren't you investigating Merrick Garland? And he didn't, blah blah blah. Like, okay, but Biden didn't.
Sure,
run
you
on
can do
this.
both.
Biden,
We can do both.
Yeah. Bring it
Que no
on.
las dos.
Well, I mean, how many times have we heard that? Have
Well,
we
so
heard
here-
that?
here's the
Well,
thing.
what are you going to do if Clinton's in the files?
I don't give a shit. Let him burn.
Right.
Arrest him.
Let them burn.
Put him on trial.
Like, the thing that
I don't care who's in there. They all gonna
Don't forget the
burn.
mic.
Oh yeah, I gotta go. But I've gotta hop
So
off.
you
You
guys
guys
have to leave
finish
us.
the conversation.
Speaking of being
I'm so sorry about
working,
the audio when I take the mic off if it does something weird.
Yeah,
What's
that's being working individuals is that Sonia is a mom and she has small ones that she has to go take care of.
Thanks everybody.
Thanks.
What I find so wild about this, because we're probably gonna jump off here in just a couple minutes, but I grew up in a part of Texas where Democrat was a dirty word, right?
Yeah.
Like my grandmother
Yeah,
was a
I'm from Northern
Democrat.
Idaho. Yeah.
My grandmother was a Democrat. Nobody talked about it. Okay, like she burned her bra during Vietnam protests and never put another one back on. And like just no one talked about politics of grandma, right? And so growing up in that environment, I remember there being, even as a child, like hearing my parents talk about the fact that, oh my gosh, there's these pedophile rings and they kill babies and they eat children and rich people hunt human beings. And guess what? Guess what, motherfucker? Here, it's right here. It's literally right fucking here.
You know what's
and no one's doing a goddamn thing about it.
That's the thing. The weirdest part about all of it to me is, and I'm about knee deep in the Epstein files, because I'm researching. Obviously, like I write the Vanguard. I'm here podcasting about the news, all of that. So like I have been keeping abreast, and I have been searching through them, and I'm going to have nightmares. Here's the thing. QAnon was fucking right.
But about the wrong people.
Well,
it's like they were literally... It's like they were admitting to their own sins, but then putting it on someone else.
With the regime, we figured it out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
This last year, that every accusation is a confession, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting here, and I'm just like, oh my God, they were freaking right about everything. They thought it was like Hillary Clinton and all of this, and it wasn't. I'm not going to give Bill Clinton a pass because I don't know what his involvement is, and I know what his history is, and so
he's the one that has said, like, I know I did fucked up shit, but like they did worse shit, and I will call them. I can't remember if it's Bush or Clinton, but one of the two is like,
it's Clinton.
Yeah, he's like, I know I did fucked up shit, but they did worse shit, so take them down if you're taking me.
Yeah.
Which, on some level,
I mean, if he really wanted to be an American patriot, he'd just fall on his damn sword about this and just
take everyone with him.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's a little senile. I don't know how there he is, and so I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know how valid it would be in court, but Lord, let's hope he has some sanity.
Well, and I mean, it's just listening to Bondi and deflect any direct question about whether or not she was investigating the Epstein files.
Which should be an easy question. It should be yes or no.
Yeah. Quite literally responded with the Dow is at 50,000. Like, nobody... Okay,
also,
great.
Is it?
It's all propped up by AI. I can go, one of these days, I'll have to like do a masterclass on what I've learned about the Dow and the stock market and the AI and NVIDIA.
Well, it's just
a shell game. It's a shell game with AI, and it's very precarious.
Yeah, because it's like each of these groups is basically just taking their debt and cycling it around in a circle. So no one actually has any money.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably why they're forcing AI down everyone's fucking throat on every goddamn search engine.
Oh, yeah,
you have to like go into settings or type some shit in. It's bullshit.
Oh, it's absolutely horrific. And it is.
I wonder if AI wrote the burn book.
Probably. Let's be real. They're not going to actually do that.
They're not paying an intern for that.
They're not going to work.
No, they're not going to pay anyone for it either.
They've had a year, right? He's been in office over a year, and he campaigned on releasing the Epstein files and getting justice for the victims.
Incompletion. Sans redactions.
There's 3 million files out there currently, and they are not even, it's like not even 10% of it or something insane.
And something like 70% of them is redacted?
Yeah.
I saw the percentage the other day, and it was a crazy amount. I remember it being really high.
Against the law, by the way. The law states that the only thing they're allowed to redact
is the victims' names, right?
The victims and identifying.
And that's the one that they don't redact.
Yeah.
They leave the victims' names, but they redact the perpetrators.
They did correct that. But to me,
but it doesn't matter. They'd already released it.
You only have one thing to redact.
How'd you fuck it up?
Other than you're incompetent. And I did just see, right before we started doing this, that one of ICE's top lawyers just resigned.
Well, that's nice.
So,
hopefully. Although that just means, okay, I hate this. And I'm going to say this. I said it about the military. I'll say it again. I get if you're a good guy, like a good person, you don't want to be working under bad people.
Yeah.
However, the only way to stop the fucking crazy train of the bad people is to have some good people in there that are putting sand in the cogs, that are slowing things down, that are turning people like, hey, this isn't right. Hey, we shouldn't do this.
Under normal circumstances, I would agree with you. Because it's a catch-22, right? On one hand, okay, the lawyers are going to be completely freaking incompetent. On the other hand is when all of this is over, and it will be over, at some point we will take back the House, we will restore Congress's power, and we will get another president who actually gives a damn, and we will work on fixing all of this stuff that he broke, right? Mm-hmm. All of these weaknesses that have been exploited, we are going to write laws and fix them. But we do still need people in these departments. We do still need immigration attorneys.
That's my point, is keep the good, just stay. If you're a good person, stay.
I think they can,
please.
Though. I know. I don't think they can because they're being asked to do immoral things and told by their bosses to do immoral things. And now I'm a biggest fan on the planet of malicious compliance. I think that is the greatest thing on the planet. It's one of my favorite things to see enacted in politics is just malicious compliance. But I get what you're saying. However, I will say this, that the DOJ has lost, it's 70,000 attorneys in the last year.
I mean, okay,
that is not
quitting can shut something down.
A problem. Right? That is a hemorrhage.
Yeah.
That is the DOJ bleeding out.
Yeah.
Which there are still actual crimes in this country that need to be prosecuted.
Real crimes.
Real crimes. Actual felonies. And we do need people investigating and trying and holding the people in the Epstein files accountable for their actions and determining if those actions are anything but they're not. Mm-hmm. If they're something or they're not. I'm not going to sit there, as much as I have been deep in the Epstein files, to say that every email exchange is examples of complicity and wrongdoing, right? And sometimes it's just a freaking email. But it's also that a lot of these emails took place after his first sex offense conviction.
Like the J.K. Rowling one?
Yeah, well.
To a kid's play?
Yeah, that's a whole nother. We're forever mad at J.K. Rowling. Forever.
I'm forever mad because I loved those books.
Me too.
They were a distinct part of my childhood.
Those books saved my freaking life.
Yes. And now
I went through some really dark shit, and Harry Potter was my escape from it.
Oh yeah. I refuse to buy anything new Harry Potter. Anything I buy that's Harry Potter is now secondhand from thrift stores.
Yep. Screw her.
Yeah. Fuck her. And I'm a little mad that I already bought Legacy, like the game, a couple years ago, because now I'm like, fuck. Yeah. I've already paid for it, so I can't return it.
So I will say, like, on Pam Bondi,
yes.
Bringing it back. I think that it was a masterclass in why you should not hire incompetent sycophants to be the top lawyer in the country. She was raked over the coals, and she was like a cat that had been backed into a corner and had no other recourse but to scream and yell and hiss.
But I think she thinks she won.
Oh no, she doesn't. I watched her. She's not a good enough actress, and I watched her, and she puts on a very good smug face, but it is flimsy. It's not real. You can see it on her that she was, anytime they were actually questioning her, she was incredibly uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. She was super, just like fidgety with her binders and like looking around and did not make eye contact with a single person who challenged her. Yeah. And then the whole incident with Representative Balint was absolutely uncalled for, accusing a Jewish woman whose grandfather died in the Holocaust of anti-Semitism that's
wild.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting, but it also speaks to the fact that the entire regime's stance on Judaism and Jews and everything else has nothing to do with actually protecting Judaism and fighting anti-Semitism, and everything to do with kowtowing to Netanyahu.
Yeah, 100%.
We're not Zionists here, despite everything. We're not. Screw that guy. Ugh. And Israel's a bad actor. Okay. Yeah. So I wanted to, a little bit of pivot. I want to talk about John Ossoff. I want to talk about him.
Now I don't know much about him, and
so I could tell you. Okay, so full disclosure, because we're gonna engage in radical candor on this podcast, is that none of us were into politics ahead of this. I kept my ear to the ground. I made sure that I voted correctly, that I stood on my principles. I have been boycotting Walmart for years because of their shady dealings. But I wouldn't, and especially during Biden, I checked out, man, because Trump 1 was so stressful for me as an individual that I was just like,
COVID.
Yeah. I was like, thank God, we have an adult in the room. I'm going to go hiking. I'm going to go backpacking. I'm going to do all the things that I actually genuinely enjoy. And I'm going to just check out and just trust that the adults in the room are going to handle it, which is why we have a representative democracy, is so that we as citizens can go, okay, I'm going to nominate this individual to be the adult in the room, and then I'm going to go live my life, and you're going to represent me to the best of your ability.
Yep.
That's the whole point of a republic democracy. However, needs necessitate that we get involved. So I had no idea who Ossoff was until last year, and I've seen several speeches by him, and he is one to watch. He is a candidate out of Georgia. He directly, I believe, his district involves the CDC, the center, the actual CDC building as part of his constituency. So his constituents have been hit really hard by all the layoffs and stuff, because we definitely don't need to be prepared for another pandemic ever, God.
Or the EPA.
And it was just, he gave a speech in Georgia, and it was like a campaign rally speech. I don't know why, but he's been doing a lot of it and speaking directly to his constituents in doing so, which is incredibly smart right now because Republicans don't show up for anything.
No, not really.
And so he made this speech and he talked about he used the term the Epstein class, which is brilliant. It's genius. And we all must adopt this.
Yes.
We no longer calling them billionaires. No, we are all calling them the Epstein class. We're going to make them hang with this albatross around their neck forever because that's who he was involved with all of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Except Soros is not in the Epstein files, ladies and gentlemen, and those who are neither. Soros is not in the Epstein files.
Interesting.
So,
that's not who I expected you to say, to be honest.
For all of the crap we take as part of being Idaho 5051 about Soros funding us, he does not. We do not get paid. We have no money. We're all working class Idahoans. You can donate to us. We would greatly appreciate it. We are a nonprofit. But we don't get paid from Soros. None of those checks have arrived in the mail. But for all of that, he's not in the Epstein files. But Trump sure as hell is. In fact, Trump is in the Epstein files over 1 million times, according to Raskins, when he looked at the unredacted files. Over 1 million times Trump's name comes up in there. In the currently released files that are semi-redacted or whatever they want to call it, he's listed in there more times than Jesus's name is mentioned in the Bible, or Harry Potter's name is mentioned in the series of Harry Potter. Speaking of J.K. Rowling, the entire series, not just one book, the whole series. Trump's in there more often. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Anyways,
every time.
Ossoff gave this speech, and this speech was so incredible because the thing he did is first of all, he labeled them the Epstein class. And I don't know if that's his thing or if it was Ro Khanna or Massey or one of those guys. The Epstein class as taking advantage of Americans, of harming those of us who are working, those of us who are not ultra rich, who are not in the Epstein class, that we have all been victims of their behavior. And he named Soros amongst them. And I don't think that's unfair because I'm not certain that you can become a billionaire and maintain all of your ethics. And in fact, Bill Gates was the only person I might have argued could, and he's in the Epstein files. So.
Yeah. So is Stephen Hawking.
Yeah, that's interesting. And like Sonia was pointing out, we need to investigate those connections because some of those connections are going to be, I don't want to use the word legitimate because that feels like it makes it seem like it was on the up and up, but they were like regular
valid
business dealings in in this world of the Epstein class that they operate under. Because they live in a different universe than the rest of us. And, and I think a lot of our congressmen, especially Jim Risch, live in a different universe. He's worth over $50 million. And he's been in Congress he's been in legislation since 1977.
Yeah.
First in the Idaho legislation, then as the Attorney General, and now as a senator. He's been in Congress for so long, it's absolutely insane. But this is a man who's worth $50 million and has been living basically most of the time in Washington doing Washington stuff. He has no idea what it's like to be a millennial trying to figure out how to buy a house in an economy where the average median home price in the state of Idaho is $450,000 and the minimum wage is still $7.25.
Yeah.
So, but when Ossoff declared that, when he said it was the Epstein class versus everyone else and that it was like, there's the argument, Dems. Pay attention because I have my beef with you too. For those who are not aware, We are on the left leaning. Idaho 5051 is nonpartisan, and we do not consider ourselves Democrats.
No.
We don't. We have a two-party system. That sucks. We should definitely be working on changing that. We are. But we still have a two-party system that we must work within, so the Dems tend to align more with our core values of protecting the Constitution, civil rights, human rights.
Personally, I lean more Democratic Socialist.
Yeah.
If I had to put a label on it, that's probably the closest one we have.
I think of myself as a civil libertarian.
That too.
Where I am incredibly, like, pro-civil liberties and pro-constitutional civil liberties, and, like, stay out of that jazz. Stay out of it, with some socialistic leanings in that I feel that the most vulnerable in our society, the government's job is to make sure that they're okay.
Yeah.
You know, that they're not dying in the street.
Yeah.
From lack of...
Because a society is only as great as their least person.
Exactly. Like,
right?
I feel like that's part of being in a civilized society, is that
that's the hope.
We are supposed to care for one another. We are supposed to be working in tandem. We are, as a species, tribal. Yeah. And our tribe should be the American people.
Well, and no one can live alone. Like, no matter how much someone thinks that they are doing it on their own, guess what? You didn't pave your own roads. You don't run your own grocery store. You don't pick your own food. Nope. You don't power your own house. You don't do every single thing that your life requires, unless you live in the woods by yourself.
Yeah, George Kaczynski it, sure, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, do that, sure. But maybe not full Kaczynski, but
you know, I mean, like, unless you're going that far, like, you really, and you're still in many ways
even most homesteaders still require and depend on societal structures to get the stuff they need.
Well, and I mean, unless you're planning to die, you have a heart attack.
Yeah, and that's fine. But it's just like people need to understand that they impact so many more people in their day-to-day lives than they will ever actually see.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that Republicans have really lost, is they don't understand how much they impact others.
There's this myth that the Republicans pretended that they believed in, which was this rugged individualism, that pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Which doesn't make any sense.
None of that actually works. In reality, none of that works. And
no, but like physically.
And so it's this whole idea that, like, you know, we're not Democrats. As Idaho 5051, we're not Democrats. We are something else. Yep. We're left-leaning, of course, by virtue of our ethics.
We need to come up with a name for it.
Yeah.
Define it, name it.
It sounds very northern Idaho, which is where I'm from, but not in the good way. But it's interesting because the thing that stood out, the Ossoff quote that I wanted to read, it says, "This is the most corrupt administration of all time, and everybody knows it."
Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah?
And I think back to the way Bondi performed in her judiciary hearing, and I think she knows it. She clearly knows it, because she had no leg to stand on, so she just resorted to screaming insults and being combative and talking about things that had nothing to do with the questions that she was asked.
Well, and that's why she brought the burn book, right?
Well, like, she always brings a burn book. That's why Moskowitz knew how to get to her, which I would love to study at the feet of that man, because he knows exactly how to take a jab at someone and not get in trouble for it. And that's why I can never run for Congress, because I'm just going to come straight at your face and take you out, and then I'm going to get censured, and they're going to find me, and I'm just going to spend all my time in the penalty box. So this is why I can't run for office. I'm going to spend all of my time in the penalty box. Probably why I shouldn't play hockey either, except I really love hockey.
Oh my God. Of course you do. Of course you play hockey. That tracks.
I love hockey. But yeah, I mean, so it's just this idea that everybody knows it. We know it. You know it. I think deep down, I think most Republicans know it. Like the maggots all the way over there who've drank the Kool-Aid or in the cult. First of all, half of them online are actually bots from Russia or China, and they're paid actors, quite literally paid actors. They're people who are living in other countries.
Probably more than our minimum wage.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're from Indonesia or someplace where they can pay them 20 cents a day.
Yeah.
You know, and things like that. But I think outside of that, I think everyone knows there's corruption. And the National Review and the Wall Street Journal have been doing a fantastic job documenting some of this corruption, particularly around crypto, which I am going to tell you, I don't know a lot about crypto, but my spidey senses tell me that it's a shell game, that it is a pyramid scheme, and I don't like it. And it is.
There's a reason that most Bitcoin type things don't last for extended periods. Bitcoin, I think, is the only one that has actually existed for an extended period of time.
So one of the most interesting things about the crypto corruption with Trump is that 80% of his Trump coins are owned by a finance company that has ties A to Epstein.
Smells like a bribe.
And B,
or maybe
Saudi
something
Arabia.
out of a will.
Yeah.
You know, at some point, I would love to touch about Jeffrey Epstein's, Steam account or some shit popping up live, and now everyone is on the idea that he just went to Argentina.
Argentina does not have extradition.
Just
saying.
Just like some other people.
That's why we gave them $20 billion, right? Is because when all of this is over, the regime is going to flee to Argentina. And I will let them know same thing that happened with the SS officers who went to hide in Argentina and Brazil. We're still going to find you.
Yeah. You will not escape.
There will be people whose entire job becomes finding you and bringing you back, kicking and screaming to stand for your Nuremberg trials. All of you.
Yep.
So, anyways, John Ossoff. We need to watch him for 2028. I think he's up. He's in the House. He's representative, I believe. Maybe he's a senator. I can't remember if he's up for election or not. I'm thinking he might be.
Okay.
But I think watching him for 2028 is a really good idea because he might. I don't even think he qualifies as a dark horse for that at this point because he's come forward so much and he's really in people's space. But if my predictions for 2028, and it is a million miles away, y'all, in politics, 2 years is a lifetime. Yeah. But I'm looking at Ossoff. I'm looking at Bashir, who is the Democratic governor of Kentucky, which is a red state. It's very interesting that they have a Democratic governor. Take notes, Idaho. We have 2 excellent candidates for governor on the Democratic ticket right now.
We have some great people running for senators.
Yeah, Maxine Durand and Terry Pickens are both running on the Dem ticket. They'll be in the primaries together. I am fine and comfortable with either one of them because, frankly, at this point, a turtle would be an improvement over Brad Little.
Yeah.
So Ossoff, Bashir, Shapiro, the governor out of Pennsylvania, I'd be watching. I'd be looking at J.B. Pritzker, but I'm not certain. I don't know if he's going to run, and I don't know if I want him to. Yeah. I have been impressed with the way he's handled Chicago. I know that a lot of more leftist people have been really disappointed with some of the things he's done. And I know that a lot of people are really disappointed with Walz. I don't think Walz is going to run. I think Walz is planning because he dropped from the governor's race. Yeah. And my suspicion that he dropped from the governor's race in Minnesota is because he felt like it was the best thing to do for the people of Minnesota. Yeah. Some of what was occurring in Minnesota was absolutely
retaliation
for him.
Yeah.
And so I think it would be an interesting thing to watch, but I keep your eye on Ossoff.
Yeah. Same with Kaylee Peterson, Todd Achilles.
Todd Achilles is running. Kaylee is running. Kaylee is running for Fulcher's seat, and I believe she is uncontested in the Dems. She doesn't have a Democratic. There's no primary for her. She has been running
she's a beast.
Crazy good campaign, and she's been everywhere. That girl
everywhere all the time, all at once.
Yeah, that girl has worked so hard to get to know people up and down this state and speak with constituents. She's holding town halls. Fulcher does not hold town halls.
Well, and she's a regular ass person. She understands what the pay is like. She understands what it's like being in a right to work state. She understands.
She's fantastic.
The farmers.
Seriously, been impressed with
She will make good changes, and she will vote for the working class.
And she will protect our public land at all costs.
Yes, because she understands how fucking vital that is.
She is not going to be interested in selling it, unlike Fulcher, who wants to sell it.
Yeah, who's already sold some of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where the Barron Trump little neighborhood out there in Marsing. came from,
building
right?
luxury homes in Marsing, which for those of you who are not a part in the southern Treasure Valley area of the state or not from Idaho, Marsing is a tiny, tiny, tiny agricultural
It is a
community.
cute little place.
I love Marsing. It is a tiny town that consists of about 4 streets and
a stop sign.
It's right on the Snake River. It's beautiful.
So pretty.
It's beautiful because it opens up right into the Wilson Creek area, which feeds right into the Oahe Mountains. So it's high desert community. But what is out there are farms and ranches.
Which have been there in many cases for generations.
Yeah. And so these people are having a luxury home development put into this area right on the banks of the Snake River.
Ran by Barron Trump?
It's invested in by Barron Trump, but it's being run by Fulcher's nephew, I think
That's what it is. That's what it is.
So
his ass is about neck deep up Trump's ass.
Yeah. And he's a Christian nationalist, by the way. Fulcher is. And so, but if you're talking about a little tiny town where you're starting to build $1 million homes,
those people are going to lose their farms.
Yeah, those farms are going away because the property taxes in that area are going to skyrocket.
If you live in Marsing and you want to fight it, I say call your city reps.
Don't call your city reps, man. Call Fulcher.
Call Fulcher too.
Annoy him.
Annoy just every step of the ladder. Just every single.
For anybody else.
Vote for fucking Kaylee.
Anybody. At this point, anyone else.
Yeah. Although I think Kaylee might be the only person running against him.
There's a gal from Moscow who,
is she running
somewhere
as an
in that
independent?
area, but she's running as an independent, I believe.
It's not Natalie Fleming, is it?
No, it's Zara something.
Oh, I know the name vaguely.
Yeah,
we'll have to do some research on that one.
She's reached out to us and wants some support and stuff, so we'll definitely be looking to talk to her. Yeah, because we will support any candidate who is interested in preserving democracy, etc. So, Lotus has got to take a phone call. All right, so I'm going to close this out. Talking to you, and that's all the time we have today for this episode, Guardians. If you want to get more involved in protecting our democracy, you can find more information at idaho5051.com. Please consider subscribing to us on Substack at idaho5051. You can become a paid or free subscriber to help grow the resistance and help grow an independent body pushing good candidates in the state of Idaho. And we do not care if they are Republican, Independent, or Democrat. Good candidate is a good candidate. The Republic needs good people. If you're interested in considering running for office, we have a video up on the Idaho Vanguard YouTube and our Substack that talks about what it is required to do to run for office. And we are here as Idaho 5051 to support you. Remember to reach out to your communities and keep the lives and families destroyed by ICE in your thoughts as we battle the scourge creeping fascism side by side. Stay informed, Guardians. We'll see you out there.